You know, I'm gonna talk. I want to talk about. I want to hear y'all talk about Malcolm.
Oh, I think you could say sugar daddies and cougars. All right, give us your feedback on that, man. Because go ahead, give us your feedback on that.
So you say who killed Malcolm? We seen documentaries. I've read many books and all that. So basically, and the people in Newark say it's no secret who killed Malcolm. They know the brothers that out of that Newark mosque that actually pulled the trigger. But it comes into a bigger conversation. Who greenlighted it? Were they moving on their own accord outside of the nation? Yes, I believe they were. I don't believe Elijah Muhammad said do this, or you know what I mean. But the way the nation is set up and the way the believers are set up, he's the messenger. That's high blasphemy. So people that pledge themselves to that will be overzealous and act. Even if I say, my father, you slap my father say leave that alone. You think I'm gonna leave that alone? Right. I believe that. I believe, you know, like I say, the people in Newark, New Jersey say it ain't no secret. We knew who did it. He lived in that community.
Right.
So there's no. Now you want to talk about did the FBI had everything wired up, had people inside the mosque, inside the nation, inside Malcolm's group, knew they was coming and let it happen? Yes, I believe that too.
Okay. All right. Hey, guys. Hey, Shice, thanks for joining us, man. And when we get into this next topic, man, if you want to join in, get back on with us. God, what are your thoughts, man?
All right, Shice, be good, bro.
Peace.
What are your thoughts, guy? And I wanted to go ahead.
Well, I let myself out.
I can't do it. All right, guy, what are your thoughts, man?
On Malcolm.
Then who killed Malcolm, man? The boy that they said did it.
Turn your mic down, little guy.
I don't think you can, but go ahead.
My technology is just as good as yours, Stace. My volumes are up and down, bro.
He trying to tell you, he like, he can't. He like,
y'all want to stop stunning me all the time, man.
His equipment trash. He can't turn it down.
Y'all want to stop stunning me like that all the time, y'all be killing me, man.
My fault. I didn't mean it that way.
He said, "Guy don't have no volume on his electronics." Come on, man. When the last time you seen a piece of electronics and he have a volume? You know what?
Yo, he got the knob that turn like this.
All right, my
crazy.
bad.
You can't turn down the volume when you got a cup to your ear with a string on it, and somebody else got a cup with a string on it. That's what he's talking about. That's what I'm working with over here. A cup with a string on the end.
My fault.
So Malcolm X, I gotta be frankly, I'm not as well versed on Malcolm X as a lot of people are. I'm probably middle of the road with it, you know. So I probably have a knowledge of what happened, just like the average, ordinary, everyday person, right? The common knowledge. And with that, I have to believe, based on what I've read in documentaries I've seen, that, like Shai said, even though there was an individual from the community that actually pulled the trigger, somebody else gave the green light.
That's right.
Because we know that our leaders ain't just walking out getting knocked off by people in our communities. Right. Our communities ain't letting it happen. Right? They're going to down you before we let you kill one of our, the leaders of the movement and our, especially somebody with that much notoriety, somebody that's famous. So I do think that the green light came from higher up. I do believe it came from our government. I'm not able to point a finger and say exactly who, but historically, our government has sanctioned the murders of several of our leaders. And you can run down a list of them if you chose to. So I wouldn't be surprised. And I actually have Malcolm X on that list too. So I think it was sanctioned by our government.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. I agree with it.
So this is my take on it. I don't have any proof about this, and when I don't have proof on things, I admit that.
Yeah, of course.
But we know that J. Edgar Hoover and his boys, had a close eye on Malcolm, even when he went on pilgrimage. They had people following him and everything. So I just like they had people join the Black Panthers and infiltrate them. I think the Muslims were the group. Was infiltrated, somebody in his circle, and I believe that just like they killed Martin Luther King, Bobby Kennedy, JFK, you know what I'm saying? all of that was around the same time, and I believe had something to do with the same people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it was, things were starting to be like they are now, where there was an uprising of black people. So whoever was in charge wanted to get our leaders out the way and be like, look, y'all can act up if you want to, but this is what's going to happen.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah.
that was a way of them trying to put black people in their place, just like when they killed the Black Panthers. Same thing. You know what I mean? And they'll probably come knocking on my door one of these days. Who knows? You know what I mean? Whatever. But
I think we all in agreement with that. And I think the fact that, if the government was the body that said that the person that killed him did it, and now they're saying that he didn't, not unfortunately, but I think that it does then shine a light back on them and makes you ask the question. So in other words, you're saying now that the person that did it is still out there. That's really what they're saying. If they're now saying that the person that did it didn't do it, so I agree with both of you on that. I think it shines the spotlight of the people
organized it.
Absolutely, organized it. Correct. Agreed.
Right.
Agreed.
That wasn't just a single, a single hit.
Right.
You know what I mean? That was organized.
Agreed. That came at the highest level. I agree with that, though. I mean, I think that, like I said, it does shine the spotlight back on the government as far as being, if not, like they said, they might not have been the one that pulled the trigger, but they were the one that, as God said, green lighted it and said
here's another thing.
Happen.
His daughter was killed right after the guys were let out.
The next day.
The next day?
Wow. Yeah, that night. It might even been that night.
I think it was 2 days later, but even still, you know what I mean? So that something's,
amiss.
Stays. Even though, like you always tell me, if I can't prove it, I can't prove that. But when something don't smell right.
Well, and
I agree with that. If it don't pass the shit test, you know what I mean? If it smell like shit and it look like shit, it's probably shit.
But my point, my position on that night, I agree with you, because my philosophy is always, does it make sense? And that would make sense. That would make sense to quiet everyone down. And we know that they have a history of doing that. So